All right, so now let's get to the next one. And this next one is one of those exceptions where this is outside of your control, but I want to talk about it anyway. So another reason why dating men is so hard is because a lot of men aren't being honest. Plain and simple. You have men out there who are in relationships not being honest about it. You have men not being real about where they are in life, their financial situations, their actual intent with you. You know, there's a lot of things that men are lying about. And this creates a lot of frustration. This creates a lot of negative energy within you. This can cause you to be very discouraged. So one, I want you to understand, do not let this discourage you. Understand that though there are many who are lying and being despicable in the way they're going about things, that's not everybody. Do not project that onto all men, all right? There are tons of men who are trying to be honest and straightforward and be transparent with you and are trying to create healthy relationships. So do not let the bad ones blind you from recognizing and acknowledging the good ones. Now, I feel the need to say this real quick, another one of those hit your spirit moments. I feel the need to say, listen, one thing I want women to also embrace, and we'll get back to this whole men are lying thing, is when you say there are no good men out there, or there are no honest men out there, let's be more specific and be honest with ourselves. Many of you know a good man somewhere. Many of you. Maybe not all of you, but many of you. He may not be the good man that you want. Okay? That's a different issue. But you can acknowledge he's a good man. Some of y'all try to put that good man onto your cousins or your friends or someone at church or whatever. So there, you know they exist. But yes, the difficulty is in finding a good one that you want and that wants you as well and that you guys can come together. The reason why it's important is because when we get stuck into that negative talk of there are none, then when a good one presents himself, you will have a hard time believing it. You will question everything about it because you're programming your mind to say, no, they're not out there. They don't exist. So now when one is there, it's like, nah, something's got to be wrong with him. It can't be this good. He must be setting me up for a lie later. Okay? Let me also say that I do think to some extent, I don't know if there's anyone on the face of this earth that's never told a lie. So when we call people liars, I'm more speaking of the consistent liars, the people who are saying lies that are significantly relevant to the health of the relationship, the ability to even move forward, these things. Not speaking to the person that the small lie here and there. Not that that's okay. But I do think we have to be honest with ourselves that, you know, again, we've all engaged in it at some point in time. So there are instances where, let's just say, for example, I'm trying to think of an example. Let's just say the guy wasn't completely honest about what he does for a living, and not honest as far as he didn't mention it. But let's say the reason why he didn't mention it was because he didn't know how you were going to take it. Let's just say, I'm just using this as an example that popped in my head. He's a garbage collector. And he's gotten some judgment in the past about being a garbage collector. And so when you asked him, maybe he kind of dodged it, right? If that then comes about that you find out he lies, do I think you should just write him off as, oh, he's a liar like the rest of these guys? And that? No, I don't think so. Because I think that unfortunately sometimes people get afraid and they mishandle things. In those moments, you have to ask yourself, has he shown himself to be a man of good character in general? Has he been showing up in this process of dating or relationship the way that I need to in general? And this is kind of an outlier issue? Or is this an example of, or is this an extension of him consistently lying in other areas, or consistently not showing up the way that he needs to, consistently not being intentional in what we're doing here? Then I would say, okay, you take that lie, not as in that specific issue killed it. It's that was the icing on the cake. That was the confirmation that, yo, you're just dealing with someone who can't keep it real with you. Keep it moving. I just wanted to add that perspective. Okay. But, ultimately, yes, there are a lot of men who are being dishonest. And I think it's important that you make sure, before I wrap this point up and move on to the next one, we're not excusing the dishonesty that many are engaging in. But if you want to meet, or you want a more honest relationship, more honesty in your dating process, then make sure you're being honest too. I can't tell you how many times I've seen women who are overlooking the fact that they're doing the exact thing that man is doing. They're not being fully forthcoming. They are giving white lies, so to speak. They are twisting some truths. But because to them it's validated in the sense of I'm protecting myself or whatever, they don't see it as the lies they are. And they're not recognizing and registering that, well, guess what? If you think you can lie out of protection for self, well, don't you think that man will think the same way? You got to make sure that if you want that in your life, you have to bring it too. So make sure you're being honest, you're being transparent and all these things. But do not be discouraged by those who are out here being very deceitful. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So I know how many of you are feeling. You feel like dating sucks. And I understand. and I hope you don't feel that way, but I know many of you feel that way, okay? I know it feels